Hey, this is Kevin from findecommerce.com. Today, we'll be talking about a formula in Excel called VLOOKUP, and we'll be using that formula to look up data against a data table. Sounds complicated, but it's pretty easy. So the data set we're using can be found freely on findecommerce.com, and it represents monthly product sales for an online bike store. So in our last lesson, real quick, we just talked about how to create a basic pivot table. First, you select the data, and then you just go to Insert, Pivot Table, and click OK. So if you drag product sales, revenue, and month into the table, in each of the areas I've indicated, columns, rows, and values, you get a data table. And so in this case, you can see sales by month, but if you have a store like mine, you have a lot of different products with similar names that really would do well to be categorized into smaller groups to get a better view of the data. So really all we sell is bikes and helmets. So it'd be nice to collapse the data and look at just those two. So what we'll do is we'll just click inside the table and get rid of month, and we have this collapsed view of product name and revenue. I'll just select all the data, Control-C for copy. Now I'm going to right-click and say Paste Special, because I just want to paste this as values. This takes it out of the pivot table, and now we're looking at just basic data. So I'll delete revenue so that I just have product names, and I'll delete the words grand total. So now I have a collapsed look at product names. So now I'm going to say product category. And what we'll do here is we'll define what these products are. So we have 4 different products that are really just bikes. And then we have a bunch of helmets. So I'm just going to copy and paste helmets to describe the helmets. And so basically what we've built here in a few seconds is a basic data table. So if I select that table, I can right-click, go ahead and define name, and name the table. So let's just call it prod category. Okay. And just so I remember later what this is, I'll call it my product lookup table. Okay. So if we go back to the raw data, we can now reference that table. So the formula, which I'll paste on my website, findecommerce.com, and I'll throw it in the YouTube description, is just equals VLOOKUP. And now we have to decide what we want to look up. So remember, we're looking up product, put a comma. What did we name our data table? We named it prod category. Next, we have to decide what column in our lookup table we want the result to be. So in column 2, we put those names, bikes and helmets. So let's go ahead and put that. And last, we have to decide, do we want an approximate match or an exact match? And we want exact. And that's it. So now let's call this product category. And if I click this little plus sign, that'll take the formula all the way down. So remember, we're looking at product against a data table. The data table, if I switch over to it and select it, was called product category up here. And we're looking at column 2 in that table, which was bikes and helmets. And because we said equals false, we want an exact match. So now I can repivot the data. Remember, you just select your data table, Insert, Pivot Table, click OK. And now I can drop in this new product category. And I just see bikes and helmets. So let's look at revenue again. I'm going to go ahead and format it. Left click, value field settings, number format, currency, and drop the decimal places. All right, that looks good, and I'll throw month in there. Okay, so now we have a collapsed view of the data, and I can still add back in product, but now it's categorized. So I can even sort and get a real clean view of what's selling helmets and bikes. So it's a powerful tool. I've given one simple example, but if you play around with this, you'll find that most companies want to view sales by product grouping, not by particular SKU. And so this collapsed view of data will really help you in interpreting your data later on. Again, all of the supporting spreadsheet and formula details are on our website, findecommerce.com. Thanks for listening.